to make the final of a World Championships since Schlager did it when he won in 2003 against Jussi Juk in the final. So Falck's had an excellent season, best of his life, highest career world ranking he's been. And Paul Drinkhall also taking a title of his own at the Serbian Open. Maybe Abdel Salafou of France in the final.
I'll receive.
Which side?
If Paul Drinkhall can respond to the flat-hitting slaps of Mattias Falck's short pimples on the forehand, we can expect to see a close game here. Falck has an excellent backhand. As I said just then, he has short pimples on the forehand. He's the only player in the top 100 actually in men's that uses the short pimples, which could be why so many players struggle to cope with this style. Paul Drinkhall, it's a very entertaining game to watch. Very hard-working player. So an interesting contrast in styles. And after the previous game, Pitchford in person, Paul Drinkhall will feel the responsibility to carry England to a draw, for them then to try and take a lead. Because I would say, without taking anything away from the teams in this half of the draw, that the other half is a little bit harder, with France and Germany going to meet in the semi-finals. It's going to be very, very competitive in that half. England have got a good chance to get to the final if they can beat Sweden. Definitely within their ability. But it is Sweden that are expected to take it through. Mattias Falck is number 2 in Europe. 2 places behind Timo Boll, who's number 1. So England was shocked in the first game. Can we see a twist in this tale of the second men's match? Mattias Falck with a cheeky serve to start off with. Call that a taxi in England, more commonly known as an ace. Great start from the Swede. Drinkhall just settling into the groove of things. Oh, goodness me. But no one's getting that one back. It's not even in the court. It's been blasted out of range and onto a different that I was talking about. Instead of looping the ball, he just slaps through it as well to get that one back, but there's no chance he's diving over the barrier onto a different court for the next one. 5-love at the start. Swedish camp looking very confident in their number 1 man. As well as that slappy forward, he's got a very good spinny backhand as well, Mattias Falck. His game's just built to be awkward. And that's exactly what Paul Drinkhall's finding it at the moment. Yet to win a point. Marcus, the coach, looking a bit concerned. An edge for Paul Drinkhall. Won't do him any harm whatsoever. But he's just not settled in yet. That's just undealable. Not much Paul Drinkhall could have done there. The first one was in the body. Paul dealt with it literally at his body. Very, very. Falck using the crossover point very well there. Played from Paul there. Lovely guided forward flick and then followed up with a harder one. Misses the serve. And it's 10-2. 8 opportunities for Falck to move up the mountain of this quarter-final. Oh, look at that backhand. That's beautiful to watch. The first time of asking puts Paul out of his misery that first set. Paul just didn't have an answer to those big flapping forehands and to sort of respond to the change in spin between his backhand and forehand. And then the placement, look at that. Such a short stroke. Picturesque. Game one was a demolition. Can Paul build a bridge to success? Better from Paul with the touch play. I think if I was Paul, that's how I'd be looking to win more of the points. In the rallies, I favour Falck, so if Paul can sort of keep it tight until he earns himself a clear attacking opportunity, that's what I'd be doing. More hopeful start from Drinkhall now, he looks more himself. That backhand is like a Ferris wheel, it spins so much. Reverse pendulum serve, and then look at that. Even though Paul's bat's closed, there must be so much spin, it's unimaginable how hard it must be to contain one of Falck's backhands. And there it is again, it's just an absolute weapon. And obviously he's such a big guy as well, he's got that leverage to be able to reach a lot more backhands than, say, a smaller player would do. Just rips into it, it's builds up all this energy and releases it into the ball. He's like a magician that hasn't run out of any spells. Better from Paul, as we said before. He's winning more points when he's keeping the ball short with the touch play. And then getting Falck out of position with an attack. I recall the 2016 World Team Championships in Kuala Lumpur, when England beat France in the quarter-finals. And Paul overcame Emmanuel Leberson in the closest of matches to get England the bronze. He can play under the pressure situations. And that looks like the best rally of the match so far. On the table, aggression from both players, tossing grenades at each other. That one explodes in Falck's face. And Paul has the lead. And Falck goes again for that signature backhand, but Paul's forehand has more topspin on the ball than he anticipated. Better tactical display of table tennis from Paul Drinkhall. 7-4 to the Englishman. Good play from Paul with the touch play again. This time he brings it out with the guided flick. Mattias struggles to time the ball correctly. Light at the end of the tunnel for England, as Paul serves the ball in at 8-5. Falck goes for a flick of his own, but it's not to land. 9-5 now to Paul. What a change of tune this is from the first end. Mattias Falck dominated Drinkhall. 11-2 in the first. That's 9-5 to Drinkhall in the second. This is more like it. Paul's going to get over the line. He's really got to make sure he's going to keep the screw tight. Keep it away from that backhand of Falck. Oh, but there's not much you can do about that. I mean, Paul played the open space, but Falck somehow got to it and fired a wounding bullet into Drinkhall. That's the advantage of using short pimples in that sort of scenario. Drinkhall heals. And has now 3 game points. The world number 94, putting up a battle against the top 10 ranked Swede. Well played, Paul Drinkhall. There is hope for Team England as the players return to the corners. A better response after Pitchford was quite honestly outclassed by John Pearson in the first game. perhaps Paul Drinkhall's found a formula that can disrupt Falck's style.
David, un petit point sur la compétition.
Sur la table numéro 1, table
Because of the best of 5
Sweden
format.
1, England 0.
There's not a lot of breathing room once you go 1-0 down. You know, it becomes sort of almost essential that you win the second game, because it's not impossible whatsoever. It's very difficult to come back from 2-0. Drinkhall obviously realises the importance of that, and he's doing everything within his reach to make sure that he can have an answer after that first heartbreak of Pitchford's loss. And they're playing at 1-1. It's 50-50 really between those two, so it's possible that England could upset the odds. But it's very, very, very important that Paul Drinkhall can defeat Falck, for Walker to take the confidence from that. Well, against the odds there, away from the table, fishing. Drinkhall wins the second point. It was a nice serve and backhand from Falck, but Paul hung in, got the extra ball back, and Falck obviously didn't expect it. In terms of Paul's game, he's got a pretty good backhand, but that's his strength. See there, Paul stamped his foot when he served. Now a lot of professional players do that to disguise how much spin's on the ball, because usually in table tennis, the quieter the ball, the spinnier it is. So by stamping on the floor when you serve, the opponent can't always tell if it's backspin, topspin or float. Oh, well, pocket. And pulls out the yellow. Drinkhall will hate that, having the attacking opportunity and fresh air in the ball. Can Drinkhall give Falck some food for thought after the timeout? Team spirit very strong in both camps. It's important that despite Pitchford not winning his first match, he's up and running for Drinkhall. Cheering him on, getting behind him. Every match is crucial in its own way. 5-2 to big Mattias. The pimpled powerhouse, Mattias Falck. I'd run with that nickname, it's not too bad. Somehow Drinkhall's got that back. Not again, surely not. If that goes on, I'm walking out of here. But it's very difficult to beat a man who's flat and hard when you're that far back off the table. Paul's almost sat at his bench with his team for that shot. Or the Swedish team. Changing country. Well played. And a Chole Kaman signifies that Paul believes that he's got it. He's got what it takes to try and at least level with Falck before it gets too late into the game. Oh, it's beautiful play. Paul does very well with the backhand, steps around with the forehand, but it's a little bit too tied up. Had the advantage with his position on the table. He held more of the ground, didn't he? Look. Drinkhall was playing a little bit risky, stepping around, playing a forehand from the backhand side. Clever. 7-5. There's not much to separate these two, actually. But Falck has the two serves now, so we'll see. The pendulum gives him an advantage. And it does. I think Drinkhall thought there was a bit more topspin on the ball than there was. And the block drops into an 8-5 lead. Well, Falck tried to rip that as soon as it bounced. Maybe he took it a little bit too early. Paul wasn't in a threatening position from that far back. Drinkhall still within a reach of 2 points. Ooh. Paul hanging on by a thread. Seeing points to and throw. 1 point to Falck, 1 point to Drinkhall. Constant changes in momentum. If Paul can try and break these serves, he'd give himself a real opportunity. Falck taking the ball nice and early, keeps Drinkhall drowning. 10-7 to Falck. The reverse serve. And Paul nets it. Very, very heavy backspin. And just like the previous game, it's 11-7. But this time to Mattias Falck. 2-1 to the big Swede. And 1-0 obviously in overall set scores to Sweden. So order. Drinkhall has an opportunity to be a saviour here. It would be legendary if he could come back against Falck and win. Falck needs just one more set. Drinkhall needs 2.
Vous ferez des escaliers en réalité virtuelle, vous voyagerez dans le temps et dans l'espace, vous piloterez des drones, vous vivrez des émotions nouvelles avec vos amis, votre famille, vos collègues de travail.
I think as soon as the ball goes too long, Mattias Falck's just too deadly. He's been playing in the forehand slaps. So hard to beat when the ball's where he wants it. I think it's often better against him to drop the ball shorter or give him like a dummy loop. Give him a softer topspin, more shallow on the table. If I was Drinkhall, I'd really be focusing on where I'm putting the loops and how short on the table they go, because I think the longer, the better for Mattias Falck. We'll see what changes Drinkhall's made after revising at the drawing board. Often such minute changes can make a huge difference. It's also important that Mattias Falck doesn't become too predictable in the way that he's playing as well. Sweden as a whole have definitely improved. I mean, since since the days of Waldner, Persson, Appelgren. They disappeared a little bit, but they've come back in strength. Obviously, Mattias Falck getting to the final of the World Singles Championships in Sweden, getting a bronze at the World Team Championships in Halmstad, where they beat England in the quarter-finals, but came short to China in the semi-final. And that does not help matters whatsoever. As 4-1 turns to 5-1, Drake. He's down and out. We'll see if plays are made of now, because Falck has to keep this concentration that he's had so far, and Drinkhall has to find something more. Well, it's just firepower everywhere you look. Mattias Big Gun Falck bringing out punishing forehands and backhands. Just proving a little bit too much for England's number 2. Actually, Sam Walker is the second highest English ranked player. But in terms of experience, I'd personally have Drinkhall as England's number 2. And 8-1 to Falck now. If Drinkhall came back from this, it would be miraculous. It's a nice loop. Drinkhall, but got himself into the right position. But it's just slipping out of Drinkhall's hands and into the sunset at the moment. The sunny Swedish sunset of the yellow shirts. And Falck can taste victory at 10-2. It was 11-2 the first game. Looks like things have reciprocated now, and after Drinkhall's response, Falck has the ultimate advantage. And a bad way to finish with a net, but definitely the stronger player came out on top on this occasion, and Mattias Falck extends the Swedish lead to 2-0. If England want to get into the semi-final stage tomorrow, they'd have to win the next 3 singles matches, which is a very tall order, as the tall Swede gets over the barrier. And the young Swede is about to come on. The European Junior Champion, Truls Moregard, who many compare to Waldner in the unorthodox creative way that he plays, and Sam Walker of England is setting himself up now to take him on. Falck certainly improved in the way that he can stay away from the table and still keep his opponent under the cosh a little bit with strong blocks, counter top spins as we see there. He's become a lot more adaptable, which with the style that he has with the short pimples makes it really, really difficult for even players with creativity to be able to play him. Falck beat Cook in Iwa at the T2 League. So even players with feeling who know how to cope with Falck's style, it's a different